And hi, welcome back to Spirit Lounge. Hope everyone is well and you're looking after yourselves. Welcome to the continuing presentation of the Apocrypha. And we're going to continue on to the first chapter around the Book of Enoch, which ends this particular section of the book. There is another chapter of Enoch coming up in the next section of the book, so we'll go into that shortly. So I'm just going to bring the presentation on the screen. We can walk through it and to talk about discuss different parts of this as we walk through. And again, as you guys know, I'm pulling out as much as I can that's our spiritual content, where there is not really any. I'll just pull out the narrative to give an idea of what the chapter is about, and the passages that maybe needed to pull out of might have some relevance we could discuss of interest as well. Okay, and again, if you really want to know what's the depth into the book, I suggest you purchase this yourselves. The one that I use is we're going to be seeing shortly, which is actually this one here. I didn't really like it because it says it has commentary. Suggests it has commentary. There's no commentary in the book from what I can see. So maybe look for a different one. I suppose they're all the same. Just make sure it has footnotes where it says it has footnotes. This one didn't see any footnotes in it, although it suggested it had it in the sentences. So I wasn't entirely impressed with this actually. Okay, so the Book of Enoch, it's called Enoch. It's a religious work. The whole book is really about Jewish history, Jewish history as well, being the chosen ones or the chosen God, that they've chosen to be their God. The passages from before slavery and the wandering 12 tribes, and then the coming together of the 12 tribes. And the reasons for that, as it suggests in the book, were the reasons for that. It's ascribed by the tradition of Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah. Describes the origin of supernatural demons. It goes into that in giants again. We've actually touched on that before, if you recall. Why some messengers fell from heaven, and obviously these were the Watchers, which we discussed in previous chapters, who were bred with the children of men took wives and created giants. And then the Great Flood again touches on that and why. It talks about the reign of the Messiah, which is really the line of David. It's really talking about being the Messiah, which is the Jewish king, which is from the line of David, if you like. And then it just really ends. It does talk a lot about the planets again, a lot about forms, a lot about wives. I'm not interested in looking at transcribing a lot of that kind of stuff, so I didn't. If you want to know again, look at the book in your own time. Okay, we'll continue in. The worlds of the blessings of Enoch, with which he blessed the chosen ones and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. Remember the days or the days of tribulation when all the wicked and godless were removed was the flood. Right, that was the intention of that. Obviously, there were children of men from beyond the line of Noah, because they still existed. That is what it's talking about there. Enoch, a righteous man whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One. I heard everything, and from them I understand as I saw, but not for this generation. So he saw visions of the future for future generations from his line, or rather from Noah. The remote one, the holy great one will come out from his dwelling, will tread on the earth on Mount Sinai. All will be smitten with fear and trembling will seize them. Again, I'm taking this as the passage of when this was written, or when this experience was supposed to be happening. Anything coming out of the sky was a god. It was coming from the sky. It's from the heavens above, which was the sky, and therefore there was fear and trembling because there was less knowledge and awareness of what was happening then. But there was more spirituality, right? So there was more aware of their own spirit and their consciousness back then than there is now. I would suggest from more foundationally grounded spirituality, but again, very naive spirituality where the fear and trembling comes in, the choosing of one, and the lesser than external God aspect. And there's nothing within, only external God was understood at those times. The holy split apart, there will be a judgment on all, but with the righteous he will make peace. He talks more about in this chapter, the righteous who will make peace. Now, we'll take this as anyone who's decided to understand the nature of the divine within themselves. Okay, so that could be you, it could be me. It doesn't have to be someone from the line, from the 12 tribes or from the line of Noah. So let's look at this more in a generic spiritual sense. There won't be judgment on anyone else, but we get inner peace. We get rest, which is called rest. We hear this a lot, and we'll hear this a lot in this text. We've heard it in the Nag Hammadi text. We have even heard it in the Upinasad's text. It's called rest, which is peace from within. When we're touching the divine force from within, we get peace from within. Just a knowing, we don't have any fear when we have peace and tranquility and harmony, contentment from within. This is what I would call, but with the righteousness. In this case, the righteousness refers to those who have rejoined themselves with their divine breath, in my point of view. If I want to interpret this in terms of my perspective, this is what this should mean. I'm not going to take the position of any chosen ones or a punishment, because this I just reject completely. But let's make this applicable to, or I will make this applicable to what this channel is for. Protect the chosen ones. Again, we can reinterpret this. Not to protect, but when you are in alignment with your divine breath, which means you're in alignment with the purpose and path that you, from the divine perspective, you came here for. When you're in alignment with it, when your soul's integrated with the breath of God within you, then you're on a path. The path is unveiled to you from within to without. It becomes known emotionally, spiritually, from heart-centered space. And you start following it. From then, the protection comes from the fact that the path becomes effortless. It's already laid out before you. And our chosen paths are not meant to be of difficulty and challenge and war and hate. This is what's created by those who have gone to the left. We always talk about the left and the right. So in terms of protection, it's the closer we move to our grace, the more peace, the more tranquility, more harmony and contentment and joy and foundation we'll achieve in our lives. And then we can say we are chosen because we've chosen to go back to grace ourselves. Everyone is chosen, of course. But we can reinterpret that. Be blessed and he will help them all, and he'll destroy the ungodly who are spoken against him. Again, that's not going to be not the case. We all know that through the passage of time when this was written. This is not the case. So we need to not take some of these traditional, very old texts, even scriptures literally, because we know through the passage of time, reading them, studying them now, we need to understand them in a spiritual sense and take from them that which is of essence to today's knowing and understanding. Observe everything that takes place in heaven. Do not engage their orbits. Do not change their orbits. The luminaries which are in the heavens rise and set in order. So remember the luminaries? The luminaries were names given to the astral bodies and cosmic bodies above. The sun, the moon, the constellations, the changing of the tides, the winds, the clouds. Everything was, it was called luminary. They were given luminaries and given names. And they don't change their course, their orbits. They're just the same always. The orbits of the planets and the sun, as we orbit the sun. Do not transgress against their appointed order. Give heed to the things that which take place on it from the first to the last. Observe trees, they're withered, except for 14 trees. Observe the days of summer, sun is above the earth. Seek shade, the heat of the sun. Trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. God has ordained, so it is done. But you have not been steadfast, nor done the commands of the Lord. Impure mouths against his greatness. Become hard-hearted, and you will achieve no peace. This is suggesting that those start to go towards the left, move themselves from the right towards the left. Years of your life will perish, all the sinners and godless. There will be a curse. There will be forgiveness for sins, and every mercy and peace and forbearance and salvation to them. An excellent light. You sinners, there will be no salvation. Wisdom will be bestowed on the chosen ones. So again, this goes back to this God choosing this very small portion of humanity as being chosen. Again, I'll ask you to question what it is that wishes to be worshipped this way. What needs to prove itself as a God, needs to be worshipped as a God, and keeps coming, sends things from above the heavens. Now, this could be, I feel this is something that wishes to be a God. This is something that's presented itself because it wants to be a God, and it's chosen peoples to worship it, and proves itself as powerful. Remember the time when this was written. Live and never sin. Who will arise will be humble, not transgress again, nor will they die of the divine anger or wrath. Again, this doesn't suggest the divine breath and the grace of all that I know. Children of men had multiplied. Remember, everything is from the divine grace. There is no chosen. Everything is of grace. Every one, every peoples, every planet, every cosmos, every galactical space in this universe of universes is of grace. So everything within it is already divine and chosen. Children of men had multiplied, born to them beautiful, attractive daughters, the messengers. So again, this is messages sent from the clouds above down to live amongst the children of men, as being the guides of the children of the chosen ones, and saw and lusted and choose wives, beget, and they decided to choose wives and beget children for ourselves. This is what they were discussing. Jewsih was their leader. I alone will have to pay the penalty of our great sin. They all answered, let us all swear an oath, abandon this plan, and bound themselves by mutual imprecations. Were 200 in all who descended to the summit of Mount Hermon. The names of their leaders were Jewsih, Arachbah, Ramiel, Kokablel, Tamel, Ramnel, Danel, Ezekiel, Barakjel, Asel, Aramos, Batarel, Ananel, Zachiel, Samaspiel, Satarel, Durel, Jamziel, and Sariel. If you notice, they've all got L at the end, a lot of them. There's a reason for this, because L does mean something. I think it's a god. We'll look into that later on the next Zonza video. These are their chiefs of tens. So they were given these names L by this being that decides to be the god that sits on this fiery throne. They took wives themselves. So there's accepted, basically, that they were forbidden to take wives because they saw humans as lesser than beings, you see. They saw them as, they need to worship them as gods, so they cannot be with them. But they've chosen through their own lustful desires. Now, again, if there were gods, true gods and deities, do they have these lustful desires? They just seem like beings to me. They took wives to themselves and they go into them. This obviously means having sex, and to defile themselves. They defile themselves by going to procreating with humans who were supposed to be lesser than beings, they were supposed to be gods of. And they started to teach them charms and enchantments. This is what I call magic, black, dark, and light magic. This is basically understanding of universal force. These are the things that people use in all kinds of witchcraft, all kinds of satanic practices. This is what sacrifice is all about, and this happens today. And it does talk about something I want to touch on later. Cutting of roots, which means understanding roots, plants, nature, herbal medicine, and they're acquainted with plants. So they started to teach them things. That for us is just understanding the world around them, the universe, nature, earth, divine powers, being the force of mind, making tinctures, potions, things like that, out of things in the ground, other things. They bore great giants, and the giants consumed all the acquisitions of men, basically ate everything, house and home. Men could no longer sustain them. Giants turned against them and started to devour mankind. They began to sin against birds, beasts, and started to drink blood. Remember, the aspect of the kosher and the halal was not to drink blood, because that's where the life force of the animal was regarded to be in the blood, or was the God was telling them not to eat the blood, because that's where the life force is. It's not in the meat. The earth laid accusation against the lawless ones, which were these messengers, these watchers. Azazel taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates and metals of the earth, beautifying of the eyelids and costly stones, started teaching them this metallurgy, and also giving value to shiny things, gold, diamonds, jewels, colouring tinctures, fornication, so sexual perversion and deviation. We were led astray. Semjaja taught enchantments. Aracriel, the signs of the knowledge of the clouds, the earth, the sun, the course of the moon. So this was astrology, numerology. So we're being taught all of these, what they were called secrets, that the naive and very unknowing humans at the time were unaware of. Michael and Uriel, Raphael and Gabriel looked down from the heaven. So these were other messengers that were, this is what is called fallen angels. This is the concept of fallen angels, with these messengers. I don't call them angels, they're just beings. Michael, Uriel, Raphael and Gabriel looked down from the heaven and saw much blood being shed on the earth, lawlessness being worked. They said that the earth was crying up to the gates of heaven. The souls of men make their suit. So this is what it's basically saying, is the soul is making their choice. The suit is the garment in which they wear. And what this is describing, remember, all the garment, we wear different garments depending on the decisions that we make, which guide our souls either away from our divine breath or toward it. And they're saying that the children of men were making their suit, which was basically moving away from what was regarded to them as the commandments or divine laws, and then the things that they were taught not to do and to do, and going into perversion and inversion, which is what these messengers were basically teaching them. Bring our cause, so they decided to bring our cause before the Most High, the God of ages. The throne of your glory stands to all generations. You have made all things, power over all things. You see all things. See what Azazel has done, taught all unrighteousness, perpetual secrets which were preserved in heaven. So in other words, there were things that these more enlightened beings, these more advanced beings, both mentally, spiritually, maybe physically, technologically, for certain beings already knew from out there in the cosmos, but they were being shared to what they were seeing as naive humans underneath, who they wanted to be gods of. Men were striving to learn Semjaza. They have gone into the daughters of men and defiled them. Not defiled them, the daughters of men defiled themselves by going with the daughters of men. Revealed to them all kinds of sins, and they're born giants, filled with blood. Souls fill themselves with blood. Souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven. You permit them, and you do not say to us what we are to do in regard to these. The Most High uttered, send Uriel to the son of Lamech, which is Noah. Go to Noah and tell him, in my name, hide yourself, and reveal to him the end. Basically, this is the intention of the God Yahweh was going to do. The whole earth will be destroyed. This is where it is already intended to execute this flood. A deluge is about to come. His seed may be preserved for all generations. And the reason they went to Noah, because they saw Noah as being very self-righteous, very virtuous, and always followed the instructions and the commands that were laid before him in visions, and also by messengers who came to him, and also Yahweh who came to him. Lord said to Raphael, I believe, Lord said to Raphael, bind Azazel, cast him into the darkness, an opening in the desert, in Dudel. Cast him herein, and put jagged rocks over him. Cover his face, so he may not see, until the day of great judgment he will be cast into the fire. Heal the earth which the messengers have corrupted. They're going to heal it through effectively getting rid of everyone and everything that's been corrupted through flood, that all the children of men may not perish. Watchers have disclosed, earth has been, and have perished through what the watchers have disclosed, the messengers disclosed to them. The earth has been corrupted. So in other words, these other beings, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, who we see as archangels, are reporting back, basically, and saying, look, this is what's happening. What shall we do? And he's telling them to tell Noah that the earth is going to be flooded and everyone is going to be killed. And all life is going to be reset, in other words. Gabriel, Lord said, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, the children of fornication, the giants. Destroy the children of the watchers, send them against one another, so they destroy each other in battle. Lord said to Michael, bind Jewsih and his associates, when their sons have slain one another, bind them fast for 70 generations. In the valleys, remember the generations were typically about 125 to 150 years old, so it's be 70 versions, 70 times that. In the valley of the earth until day of their judgment, they will be led off to the abyss of fire, confined forever. Destroy all the spirits of the reprobate and the children of the watchers. They have wronged mankind. Destroy all wrong we will destroy all the wrong from the face of the earth, and plan righteousness. Truth will appear, and righteousness will escape, and will live until they begot thousands of children, and on the earth, and it's tilled in righteousness. You will cleanse the earth from all oppression. All nations will offer adoration and will praise me and worship me. So this is where it comes from, where it says the fallen angels were cast into the earth, into the lower realms of the earth. This is where I would suspect the impression of hell, the hell underneath, the fiery hell underneath, where the fallen angels domain is, and that's where they reside, which is basically hell. I will open the store of blessings which are in the heavens. Enoch was hidden. No one of his children of men knew where he was hidden. His days were with the Holy One. So Enoch had visions and spent a lot of his time having visions and having predictions and having some foresight, if you like. Watchers called me. Enoch the scribe, go declare to the watchers of the heavens who have left the high heaven and worked great destruction on the earth, and you will have no peace. And tell them they will have no peace nor forgiveness for their sins. So Enoch's been sent to tell them what was going to be happening to them because of this indiscretion. They worked great destruction on the earth, and you will have no peace nor forgiveness of sin. Enoch went and said, Azazel, a severe sentence has gone out against you. You will not have toleration. I went and spoke to them together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. They implored me to draw up a petition and to read the petition to the Lord of heaven. That point they could not speak or raise eye to heaven, so they became ashamed. So he wrote the petition and described all to their spirit the deeds each individual had done, and read it at the shores of the waters of Dan. He read their petition. He fell asleep, and a dream came to me, visions of discipline. I went to them, and the faces were covered and recounted visions. So he's basically telling them the visions in his dream. Okay, the scroll of the words of righteousness and of the reprimand of the perpetual watchers in accordance with the command of the holy great one in that vision. He has created and given man the power to understand the word of wisdom, and give me the power to reprimand the watchers. Your petition will not be granted. No, Enoch basically says to the messengers, fallen angels as it were, who came from above. From now on you will not ascend into heavens for all ages, and you'll be in bonds of the earth will bind you. Seeing the destruction of your beloved sons, the vision was shown, stars and lightning sped before me. Winds in the vision caused me, and fly and lifted me upward. So in his vision, he's basically saying what's happened, but he's telling them what was happening was basically taken up into the realm of the gods, of the archangels and of Yahweh. The vision was shown, into heaven, to a wall built of crystals, with tongues of fire. Into the fire he walked a large house, made of crystals again. A flaming fire surrounded the walls. I entered a second house inside the larger house. An entire portal opened, and a lofty throne as crystal underneath, streams of fire, great glory sat thereon. So there's lots of fire everywhere on a throne of crystals. This just sounds like a very glorified being to me. A raiment, and his raiment shone, either what was being worn. None of the messengers could enter, and behold, the Lord called Enoch. Hear my word, do not fear. Say to the watchers, why have you left the high and holy and perpetual heaven, lain with women, defiled yourselves, and begotten giants? You were holy and spiritual, living continuous life, and you lusted after flesh. I have not appointed wives for you as for spiritual ones. So they were supposed to be regarded as spiritual ones, and therefore they weren't given wives. So they're supposed to be, in this case, divine, holy, and were given a dwelling place in the heavens. And they will be called evil, and proceeded from their bodies because they are born from men. These are the offspring, the giants, of primal origin, which is what humanity was regarded as. And they caused offences, and they rise up against the children of men. Slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, day of consummation until the great judgment, over the watchers and the godless, had previously been in heaven. All these, the watchers and who are now godless, had previously been in heaven. All mysteries not yet revealed to you. So basically saying that they didn't reveal to them all the mysteries, they only revealed to them worthless ones, as was regarded as Yahweh. Yes, they were given the understanding of magic, but worthless magic in the eyes of Yahweh. Through these mysteries, women and men work much evil on earth. You will have no peace. This is true today. So, the work of universal force, understanding the divine nature of creation, creation, transformation, and destruction, universal energy, cosmic forces, the force of our own mind through manifesting through vision and thought and imagination. The works of nature, what nature offers us, the healing, the tinctures we can create, the compounds we can create, the chants, anything we can manifest through the force of mind and chanting and sacrificing. Sacrifice for me is a cascade of negative energy, for me. This all can manifest anything we wish from the astral realm, what we call dimensions. Dimensions, states of frequency and energy. And this is where magic is practiced. It can either be of going towards the spiritual, which we don't really practice that. It's manifestation mostly, and the connection with the grace. But it's mostly practiced on the left. More dark magic is practiced. Things to empower and govern the material realm and the earth and all that lives on it is compounded on the left-hand side, because those who wish to sacrifice the virgins, which are basically children, do magic, and they execute this through illusion and magic and control and perversion and inversion of light on those sides. So this is also happening today. You have no peace. You brought me to a place. Those who were there like flaming fire, and they appeared. So basically, he's been taken. So I'm skipping on a little bit here. Remember, I skipped to large portions of it which had no relevance from my perspective. So I'll skip forward. So basically, Enoch was taken to different places in this vision after he was told what was going to happen, and the messenger. So now we're going to describe different places, different areas of this realm that he was shown. So he's saying he was taken to. So he brought to a different place, and there were beings like flaming fire who appeared as men when they wished. So this was what we call archons, right? Beings of fire, and it's a place of darkness. A mountain and reached the summit and reached to heaven. It was a summit, and the mountain reached the summit and it reached to heaven. Also, a place of the luminaries. And they took me to the living waters, a river of fire in which flows like water. A place where no flesh walks, winds of the heaven, sun and all the stars. Beyond the heavens were completed. I saw a deep abyss, so this is another place he was taken. To many, many locations and places he was taken, with columns of heavenly fire. with no expanse, no firmly founded earth beneath it. 7 stars like burning mountains. A messenger said, "This place is the end of the heavens and the earth." Stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the command of the Lord. So it's saying there are stars which roll over the fire, which are by those who have been condemned to this place, this abyss, if you like. Uriel said, "Messengers will stand here. Their spirits, assuming many forms, are defiling mankind, and will lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods." This is exactly what's happening when it goes on to the very far left. This is Luciferian, satanic, dark, depraved, inverted, perverted forms of humanity over that side. This is what they do. We've already manifested dark forms and demonic forms from the realms of the astral, the lower realms of expression and perception in the 4th dimension. People say this is what we've already manifested here. We'll stand here until the day of the great judgment. Messengers who went astray will become sirens. Uriel, over the world, Raphael. So these are what the archangels were representing. So Uriel stands over the world. Raphael is over the spirits of men. Ragael stands for the vengeance of the world, over the luminaries, over those messengers. Michael was over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Saraquel over the spirits who sin, and Gabriel over paradise and serpents. Ramiel is the God sent over those who rise, elevate, ascend. I proceed to where things were chaotic and continued on. I saw neither a heaven nor founded on earth horrible place, which have transgressed the commands of the Lord. Another place more horrible, a great descending columns, the prison of the messengers, forever another place, souls of the dead, children of men should assemble here, made division, the dead might be separated, the spirits of the righteous, made for sinners, punishment who are cursed forever. And it goes on to many, many more places. So it goes on to seeing more and more places of in the abyss, which is worse than the preceding one. I wish to know about everything, the throne of God. And so Enoch says to Uriel, "I need to know everything." The throne of God, he will come down and visit the earth. The garden of righteousness, which is the Garden of Eden, is a tree of wisdom of which your ancient father and your ancient mother have eaten. So he shows him the Garden of Eden, in other words. They learned wisdom, they opened their eyes, and they're driven out of the garden. I saw the end, so the earth. I counted the portals of the heavens, showed all things, and wrote them down as names and laws. So Enoch was transcribing all of this. The book of the allegories of Enoch. The second vision which he saw, a vision of wisdom. He saw vision of wisdom. Hear you, men of ancient time, the words of the Holy One. Until the present day, such wisdom has never been given by the Lord. 3 allegories were imparted. The first allegory, when the congregation of the righteous will appear and sinners will be judged for their sins, secrets of righteousness will be revealed. Lord of spirits has caused his light to appear in the face of the holy, chosen ones. Kings and mighty will perish. The holy children will descend from the high heaven. Seed will become one with the children of men. Enoch received scrolls of zeal and wrath, and saw another vision. Saw chosen one of righteousness, his dwelling place. Chosen ones before him. I saw multitude. Now, saw chosen ones of righteousness. Again, this is from the line of David. I don't know who this is. This could be Jesus, but I'm not a theologian to know whether he was from the line of the chosen, of Noah or David. I saw 4 presences. First voice blesses the Lord of spirits forever. Second voice blessing chosen one and chosen ones. The third pray, intercede for those who dwell on earth. And the fourth fending off angels. The first is Michael, the second is Raquel, third is Gabriel, and the fourth is Phanuel. Okay, I saw the secrets, how actions of men are weighed in balance. This could also be karmic. We get karmic for good and positive and negative and indifferent. Everything is karmic. Everything is balanced. Karma is just energy. Saw secret of lightning, Thunder, winds, earth, clouds, dew, hail, winds. The Lord made separation between the light and the darkness and divided the spirits of men. Wisdom came out to make her dwelling among the children of men. So basically, what is this saying? Separate between light and darkness. Well, this is our own free will, is it not? We can either choose positive or negative or indifferent stances. Ultimately, a indifferent stance will mostly lead you towards your ego. Ego will also drift you to the left. And this is the choices we make. This is where the separation is. It's really just free will we're talking about here. We can go towards our lower tree of life desires, or the upper tree of life desires, or the left or the right. Wisdom went out to make a dwelling among the children of men. This is just wisdom as an energetic force. Here it's also given a luminary. Remember in Nag Hammadi it was the same. This was Sophia. Took her place among the messengers. There are names of the holy who dwell on the earth and believe in the name of the Lord of the spirits. So this is basically saying that the wisdom came to earth. The earth started to go towards the left, and therefore wisdom was omitted. They decided to ignore wisdom, the divine within themselves, the Godhead. So they found no dwelling place, metaphorically, and then it went back among the messengers in heaven. In other words, it was omitted from earth and therefore metaphorically retreated. This is the second allegory concerning those who deny the name of the dwelling, the holy ones and the Lord of spirits. They will not ascend into the heavens. Persevere for the day of suffering. My chosen one will sit on the throne of glory and will try their words. I will cause my chosen one to dwell among them, transform heaven, a continuous blessing and light. I saw one who had head of days, his face full of graciousness, showed me all hidden things concerning the Son of Man, who he was. The Lord of spirits had chosen him, will raise up the kings and the mighty from their seat, put down kings from their thrones. They will deny the name and persecute the houses in those days. The righteous will have ascended, a fountain filled with wisdom. He will be a staff to the righteous, hope of those who are troubled. Celebrate the Lord of spirits. Wisdom is poured out like water. Unrighteousness will disappear as a shadow. His might to all generations. Him dwells the spirit of wisdom. Earth will give back that which has been entrusted. Sheol give back which has been received. This is the death, the hell. Destruction which it owes. The chosen one will rise. His mouth will pour out all the secrets of wisdom and counsel. Show iron, copper, gold, silver, and serve as dominion to his anointed. I saw a valley, and messengers of punishment were hiding there, preparing all the instruments of Satan. Okay, I began to speak a third allegory concerning the righteous and the chosen ones. Blessed are you, being the light of the sun, holy without number. There will be peace. Darkness will have first been destroyed. Again, this will be appropriate to anyone whose darkness is just misguidance, our own misguidance. And this can be anyone who's choosing to move the soul expression towards the divine breath. We will find peace and rest within, and therefore in life. Deny his name. Days prepared. A punishment may not come in vain, and it will slay the children with their mothers and the children with their fathers. And two monsters parted. So the Leviathan from the abyss was Leviathan, which is the female, and from the abyss of the ocean, the male is the behemoth, was occupied the waste of the wilderness in those days. Messengers took wings. This is where the angels concept comes from. And gone to measure. So they've gone to measure, which is judge. Chosen ones will begin to dwell with the chosen ones. Measure will be reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth. Lord commanded the kings. Measures will reveal all the secrets of the depths of the earth. Lord commanded the kings. Mighty exalted. Said, open your eyes and lift up your horns if you are able to recognize the chosen one. And so the horns is basically saying that they were worshipping demons and dark forces. This chosen one is unclear to me, whether this is Jesus or some other chosen one. Lord of the Spirit seated him on the throne of his glory. For from the beginning the Son of Man was hidden. Most High preserved him in the presence of his might and revealed him to the chosen ones. Kings mighty will fall down before him on their faces, set their hope on that Son of Man. Now, I'm not unsure who they're talking about here. This is something I would probably need to research a little bit, because it's not clear. It doesn't have a name. I don't think it's Enoch. Enoch seeing this vision, but who is this chosen one? Noah saw that the earth had sunk down, cried aloud to his grandfather Enoch, said 3 times, "Hear me, hear me, hear me." Voice was heard from the heaven, and I fell on my face. Grandfather Enoch came, showed me the messengers. Let loose all the powers of the waters. Lord of spirits, command the messengers. And then it says, waters, hold them in check. It was the word of God. Noah, your lot has come. Seed of life will come out from it. Earth not remain without habitation. So he's basically saying that this is where the ark comes from. His line will be preserved, coming from Noah. Imprison those messengers who have shown unrighteousness, which we've already discussed what's going to happen to them. The astronomical book, scroll of the courses of the luminaries of the heavens in relation of each according. So this is talking about astrology. This is talking about the movement of the planets, the revolutions around the sun. I'm assuming back then, because obviously we didn't believe we were going around the sun until much, much later in history, or in in the path of forward history. Oxymoron there. So this is where they were imparted upon, understanding what the stars and the sun meant, the twinkles in the sky, the cosmos. To their names, so they're given luminaries. When luminaries were given, they're also given names, and those luminaries were then they're called luminaries, or holy ones, worshipped, in other words. And places of origin. Uriel showed me all their laws exactly as they are, until the new creation is accomplished. Sun has its rising in the eastern portals of heaven. 6 portals in which sun rises, 6 portals sun sets, moon rises. Uriel showed me 12 doors open, the circumference of the sun's chariot. Uriel answered, Behold, I have shown you everything. The rain will be kept back. Enoch observed these heavenly tablets. Read the scroll of all the deeds of mankind to the children of the flesh. The book of dream visions. I will show you all my visions, my son, Methuselah. I saw a terrible vision, how heaven collapsed, fell on earth, swallowed up in a great abyss. To the secrets of all the sin of the earth, it must sink into the abyss. Petition to the Lord glory, a remnant may remain, not destroy the old earth. I blessed and hold the great one. Leave me a posterity on earth. I saw many stars descend and cast themselves down from heaven. And then it talks about animals battling as a metaphor for things. A bull, a heifer, and things like that. Methuselah is the son of, I think it's Noah. Okay, the Epistle of Enoch. Methuselah, call all your brothers. I may show you everything. Love uprightness. So Noah's calling all his sons and the sons of his sons. I may show you everything. Love uprightness. Do not associate with the double heart. I know that violence must increase on earth. Great discipline will be executed on the earth. Transgression will prevail in a twofold degree. That's right. Transgression is a twofold degree. Transgression can be moving left or right, and in the middle is psychical. All kind of apostasy, transgression. A great discipline will come, wrath, and cut off from its roots. Idols of the heathen will be abandoned. Righteous will arise from their sleep. Wisdom will arise. The world will be written down in destruction. A scroll written by Enoch. Complete doctrine. Enoch began to recount from the scrolls to you, my sons, according to that which appeared to me. So Noah had similar visions, past, from moving forward from Enoch. A great wickedness will arise after me. Law will be made for all sinners. Visions of the holy and righteous will be seen. Glory will be built forever. Hearts of all of them will godlessly forsake wisdom. An apostate generation will arise. This acutely has occurred, right? Back then, before the flood and post the flood. It's because it's the nature of the left and right paradigm of free will and choice. What do we choose to become? What is our ego? Are we drawing to our ego, our self-righteousness, our virtue, our mind, our intellect, our bodies? Are we going to move towards grace? This is where it comes from. These will be many. Heart the voice of the Holy One without being troubled. Or rather, hears the voice of the Holy One without being troubled. My sons, seek and choose for yourselves righteousness, paths of peace, live and prosper. Sinners will tempt men to mistreat wisdom. Of course, wisdom just means mistreat those who move towards grace and wish to share their experience of grace, to share their perceptions of that they're receiving. They're always mistreated and cascaded to the edges of everyday paradigm society, which hovers around the middle and goes towards the left. Woe to those who build their houses on sin. He who has created you will overthrow you. Do not fear sinners. You will have lordship over them. He will appoint a guardian over all the righteous and the holy from among the holy messengers. Children of the earth will see the wise in security. Okay, and that's the end of that. Again, it took a long time actually to put that through. The chapter is very, very lengthy, very, very wordy. So forgive me for any of the gaps between these videos, because it takes a long time for me to study them and to pull out what means something or may mean something for this channel and also for myself, and maybe means something to you guys, as this is what the purpose is. But the second coming is yourself, regardless of what you read in text or scriptures. It is always going to be yourself. Ultimately, the final stone across the passage of the river, across to the other side, is going to be your stone. So make sure that you understand that when you go into your practice and your journey of your own, whatever it is going to be in between here and then. True spirituality is transformative, which it is. It has to be part of life. It cannot just be a virtuous act here and there because you just feel like it, or you want something, you ask for something. It's very difficult. It's very has no purpose really, and there's no really intent coming from it, out of it, when that occurs. Okay, so I'll put the webcam back on there, and I want to say thank you all for listening to this again. There will be another, going to start a new section coming up, and the first chapter in that section is called Enoch again. So we'll pull out what we haven't already repeated. If we've already repeated it, I'm not going to repeat it again. So we'll see how that goes, and I'll see you on the next video. And I say God bless to you all, and thank you again for your time and your patience and subscribing to this channel. If you find that others will benefit from it, please share. And again, God bless to you all, and thank you.